All right, so for this calculus problem of the day, we're going to find a limit. So this problem is actually from section 4.4 in the Survey of Calculus textbook that we use, which is talking about asymptotes. So it's not from chapter 2 where you first talk about limits, but it does apply to finding asymptotes because the section after this, we're going to be sketching graphs, and part of that is finding the asymptotes. And you also need to figure out what direction is the function going as it approaches the asymptote, so the vertical asymptote in particular. So we really need, most of the time, you really need to pay attention to the one-sided limits because the limit itself may not exist. If you have a vertical asymptote and one side is going to negative infinity, one side is going to positive infinity, you got to make sure that, um, well, I mean, I guess really you should no matter what, because it doesn't matter if the limit itself exists. Because we're looking at going either to positive infinity or negative infinity. You need to know both sides. So um, we're going to look at both sides. So we'll look at the left-handed limit. And most of these you're not going, at least in this section, you're not going to be able to plug in the number and get the answer. You're going to have to do something else. Um, and in particular, when you're finding what the function is doing as you approach the vertical asymptote, it's really a matter of just figuring out the sign because you know it's going to positive or negative infinity. That's the definition of the vertical asymptote. Well, I don't know if it's a definition, but with a vertical asymptote, that's what always happens. So you know that. So we have the vertical asymptote at 1. You know it either has to be doing this or it has to be doing this. Has to be one or the other. You can't have it to where you come up like that because then we're not an asymptote. Um, so how can we figure this out? If we plug in 1, obviously we get 0 on the bottom, and that's no good. So it's better to think about this. We're coming from the left, so we're looking at numbers that are slightly less than 1. So what if we let x equal like 0.999? So we get 2 minus 0.999 on the top. On the bottom, we get 0.999 minus 1. Now, kind of like what we talked about in the last video, we're not worried about the number. It doesn't matter because whatever you get here is not, that's not the limit. That's just showing you kind of the direction the limit is going. So what do we need? We just need the sign because we know it's either positive infinity or negative infinity. So this is always positive, and you really could just plug in 1 here. I mean, whatever you get, 1.001 in this case, that's going to be positive no matter, as long as you're getting close to 1, 2 minus whatever that number is going to be positive. So both of these are positive. So that tells us that this limit goes to positive infinity. So the left-handed limit goes to positive infinity. Now let's look at the right-handed limit. So from the right, 2 minus x over x minus 1 squared. And so you don't really have to pick a number that's close to 1, but we're going to pick a number like 1.00, however many zeros you want. Doesn't really matter. A number really close to 1, but slightly bigger than 1. And you find the same thing. Plug this in, that's going to be greater than 0. And then, of course, the bottom, it doesn't matter what you plug in, as long as it's not 0, uh, it will be positive also. So this one also goes to positive infinity. And that's really what you're worried about. So in this case, the limit of the function would be positive infinity because it is going that way from both sides. So we don't know really what happens. Um, beyond that, but we know that as we're approaching 1 from both sides, we're going to go up to positive infinity. So the important thing to remember with these in 4.4, or anytime, whatever section, I mean, I guess it could come up in other sections, but anytime that you have a 0 on the bottom and non-zero on the top, has to go to infinity or negative infinity. And so all you really need to worry about is what are the signs on top, what's the sign on top, what's the sign on the bottom. And then if they're both positive or both negative, it goes to positive infinity. If they're mixed, it goes to negative infinity. So um, fairly easy. Just remember a couple of rules and you got it. So if you got any comments or questions or any other problems you want me to do, just leave it in the comments or send me an email if you got it.